First call. This meeting to order at 2:05 p.m. Yep. PM. Don't even know what day it is. Curtis, could you do it?
2:05 a.m. would be last call.
Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for this day. Lord, be with us as we go through this meeting. Thank all the council people that's here today. Lord, give us wisdom and help us to make good decisions. Be with us as we go to our homes tonight and bless our visitors and take them home safely. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Philip?
Yes, sir. Dick Blake.
Here.
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Bill England.
Here.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Jack Baker. Joe Bird.
Bonnie.
Sean Crittenden. Don Garvin.
Bonnie.
Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Wanda Hatfield. Rex Jordan.
Here.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
Denise Taylor. Here. David Thornton. Victoria Vesquez.
Bonnie.
David Walkingstick. Brian Warner.
Bonnie.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you. Like to ask for approval of minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Reports, Marshall Lane.
Council, I hope my voice doesn't give out before my information, but we have just wanted to report that we have just ended our clothing voucher program, but there will be a makeup deal November 24th in Tahlequah. If anybody missed it, and we will make home visits if needed, if you'll just get those names to us. We are doing LIHEAP. We're very busy down there doing both of these programs back to back. We are completing applications through the month of November for our elders and disabled. In December, if funding allows, we will open this up to all the ages. And I wanted to say I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving early, and if you have any questions.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Good report. Thank
I
you.
do want to say one more thing. If any of you, we're really trying to find out where our World War II veterans and our Korean veterans are. And so if any of you have a Facebook or Twitter or whatever else is out there, if you will just let them know the first process to be on this veterans trip, because we are getting a lot of publicity from it, is to be honored at the council. That is the very first step. So those World War II veterans need to be, we need to know who they are and if they're willing to come in. I know Harley gave 2, and we got them on the list just barely in time. So we really are losing these guys, and we really want to give them the opportunity while they're healthy to do this. And if you haven't seen the veterans, they're streaming that on the TV, and then at the Cherokee Voices of the Cherokee People, it was on this time. It's a very moving trip for everybody, and including the staff and the veterans. So we want to get them first, and then we'll go on down the line to the other wars. So I wanted to remind you to do that. Okay? Thank
Well,
you.
Marcia, is that for all veterans, all Cherokee citizens?
Cherokee.
Not just our excuse me, our 14-county area? Is it
No,
everywhere? Everywhere?
We want all of them.
Oh, okay.
We wanted a database,
Okay.
basically where our veterans are.
Okay.
And we're going to, this next year, we're going to try to go to some of the out of district because we're hearing that there's a lot of veterans. That's why we made a special trip along with the NCAI to go out to that community meeting.
There are a big number.
So that's,
Thank you.
oh,
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Marcia, back in our Rules Committee meeting, we talked about veterans just a little bit, and I brought up the fact that, I guess I must have overlooked it. I thought the new veterans card that we get to be tax exempt at our businesses was for disabled veterans, but it's not. It's for all veterans. And the report is we only have 154 veterans that apply for those tax exempt cards.
oh, okay.
I wish you could put the word out, because you have a database for veterans to get the word out. It's not just for disabled veterans, that's just for state only, and I knew that, but I'm a veteran, and I didn't know that because I thought it was for disabled, but that was one way that you could actually get more news out to the veterans that you have on your database, so I would suggest you use it, you know, why not?
You're talking about the veterans card where you
Yeah.
can take it.
Take it to the
Yes,
disabled.
yes, I'm aware of that. That's
It's
a
not a
good
lot of
point.
money, but it could be for somebody.
Someone on a fixed income,
Yeah.
it is a lot of money.
So if you use your database, you might put that out in an email or a letter. All right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
That's a good point, thank you.
Welcome. Any more questions? Okay, thank you, Marcia. David, are you all alone back there?
For rehab, yes, Ron is in, at Speed Hall this week. I think you guys have our report if you have any questions.
Any questions for rehab? Yes, sir.
David, I know we're always talking about rehab, home rehab and stuff. Going to be making headway as far as getting contractors on board, speed up rehab, and where's your budget on rehab?
We have right at 90 jobs under contract. We have 53 as of this morning posted on the website. In the last 3 weeks, there's 21 of those rebid due to no bids. As far as our budget, going into October 1, we had 754 approved applications. Last year, we completed 653 jobs with approximately $10 million, $8 million for rehab, sorry. So we're gonna need some money before the year is over with.
On the 21 that you had to rebid,
Mhm.
how many did you send out total that time? 53?
Yeah, there was 53 of them
53, and you had 21.
that were rebid.
And why do you have to rebid the 21? You didn't get bidders, or were they way over your budget, or?
Some of them are over budget, some of them, the majority of the time, there's not enough bids, usually one bid. Have to have two to award, or they have to bid twice before we can award.
And like these 21 bids, will some of those same people come in and submit a bid again?
Yeah, yeah, and usually when they bid, I always tell the contractor to make sure they write on their bid, this bid is good for 30 days. Because normally we post them for 5 days, 7 days, and that makes their bid good again, and that way we have two bids when we repost it.
On the second bid, are you taking non-Terrell contractors?
Yeah, we've got 2 non-terros working now.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was what I was leading up to, is
yeah,
over the second bid, are you going ahead and give it to non-Terrell contractors?
yep.
All right, well, I'm kind of curious about where your budget's going to be after the first year, so if you would kind of have that ready.
Okay, yeah, I'll keep you updated on the budget. Willard would probably be, I know that I've had visits from a couple of new contractors that are in the process of getting Terrell certified, so they're ready to start bidding.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. David?
Hey, Dave, so this year, the number of jobs completed year-to-date was 653.
Mhm.
And then what was it last year?
Last year it was 653.
653. What was it this year?
We have,
Right now?
right now we had, well, at October 1, going into the new physical year, we had 754 approved applications.
Okay.
And we're taking an average of around 100 to 150 approved applications per month.
Okay. All right, so you have 100 more for this year than what you had last year.
Right.
So what was your budget last year, and then what's your proposed budget for this year?
It stayed the same. There is a
Same.
8,300,000 for rehab, emergencies, housing accessibilities. There is $1,300,000, I think, for rehab replacement homes.
Okay. And so the budget's gonna stay the same, but you're gonna need some more funds there.
Mhm. And we've been lucky enough in the years past to get some, so.
Sure. The other thing is, the email about the lady that, I've been emailing you about.
Mhm.
Has anyone contacted her?
Yeah, we went out. We probably need to discuss that after.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. All right, thanks, Dave. Thanks, Terry, that's all.
Sir Frankie?
David, I have a young man who called me the other day, and it's on water and sanitation. Do you take or answer those questions as well?
You
I
sure?
knew Billy did, but I didn't see.
Well, somebody's here for Billy. I'm here.
Had a young man who said he applied back in February of this year, before he completed his home for the water and the septic and everything. He has completed the home and is told it'll be March before he gets any help.
Is he a tribal member?
Yes.
We'll just have to look at it and look at his application. Do you happen to know the name, right?
I have the name, yeah,
Okay.
I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Just-
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
David?
Oh, yeah. David, I want to commend you with the job you've done in my area. You've not hesitated to take care of our people, and I really appreciate that. But as far as the council's concerned, I'm still advocating to have an office in the southern district, in the northern district.
Amen.
In the middle district of rehab, and that's gonna help our people more than you can. You've been there, you know. You've been in the office in the southern part, I know. And my gosh, we could just order at y'all, you had a crew, and you go out and take care of business. And that's what I would be advocating for. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
Janice?
Well, I've got a unique situation, and I don't know what to do with this. I've got some people that received a significant amount of rehab. But what they tell me is they got half their house roofed. Their problem was with the floor settling, and they got HVAC instead of getting the floor fixed. And I don't know where to go with that. Do we have some type of a arbitration where everybody sits down? And because, by the time they get to me, they're mad. I'm in the middle. I don't know what may have been said to them. What is the solution? Is there any type of arbitration where, ma'am, this is your paperwork that you filled out. You said you wanted this. That's what we did. But now they want that. I mean, they're not happy because they have half a new roof and they have services that they didn't request that were done. Not that they're not grateful for that, but the original issue is still there.
Before any work is complete or started on a job, the housing counselor calls the participant in. They go over the write-up with them, exactly what work's going to be done. They sign off on it, we go do the work. Not sure, I can get with you after the meeting.
Well, I mean, we've been back and forth on this for some time now. I don't know, okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, sir. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Brian.
I'll just echo what Ms. Taylor said there. I've got a lady and she's got a list of stuff, man, she's happy. But I went and visited with her. She needs windows put in. She's got the windows, they're back there in the room, but they're not on the work order to get put in. You know, and I didn't know, I was kind of curious how many times has anybody else ran into something like this, or Mr. Pruitt? I mean, how many times do, you know, you see these things or get these calls of, hey, you know, there's some things being done, but we're not getting all of it done.
Well, it depends really on what program they apply for. Our emergency program, the policy limits are $5,000. And that's to address the emergencies, no heat, no water, that type of emergency. Housing accessibility is for the elderly, handicapped, and disabled, as well as rehab. Rehab is, in our policy, is for that. You know, I'm not sure a lot of times if the emergency is a roof leaking, we go do, the only thing we address is the roof. And if they qualify for the other programs, then we sit in an application for that part of it. Not sure, you know, just.
Right. Well, I mean, heck, I don't know how it all works, but it's always like if we're there and they've got some things that need to be done, you know, instead, because I've got something back stating that she's going to have to fill out more paperwork. Well, guess what? She didn't want to have to do. And I mean, I understand, but she's older. She's got granddaughters that are there taking care of her, stuff like that. It's just, but, you know, thanks for shedding some light on, you know, some of the things. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
we've recently got a new data system for now. An application is good for a year. Once they put it in, we just go back and pull all that information.
Okay.
And they don't have to reapply
Okay.
again.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you, David. Gary Cooper.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I will not be able to join you all this evening because I'm also going to Speed Hall, which is our Regional Housing Association quarterly meeting. But I made sure that I was able to be here today, this afternoon, to answer any questions that y'all had before I left. Several things that I want to be sure to mention. Since Veterans Day was last week and several folks have talked about veterans, some of you may have already heard that there is a veterans housing program. It's already been offered over on the public housing side. We've been trying to get it implemented over on the Indian housing side, and they've just put out that notice. It worked a little bit different. This is the first time they've ever done a notice like this where HUD actually invites the folks who's eligible to apply for it to apply, instead of putting out a regular NOFA or notice of funding availability and says, here's what the requirements are, apply. They identify who's going to be eligible to apply. So there was 30 tribes that was selected to be eligible to apply, and we were one of those 30 throughout the country. So working on that right now, and that application's due the end of this month. So we'll be putting that together, and hopefully this is a demonstration project. It is the first time they've done it. It's works. Since it's in Indian country, it has to work a little bit different than it does over in public housing, but it's I think it's something that's going to work, and we're certainly going to try. And I'm working on getting that information put together for them. As you know, back in August, we mentioned that HUD was here for their review. They sent us back the draft notice last week, and there was no findings, no concerns to report, which was good. And they also commended both the Cherokee Nation and the Housing Authority for a number of areas. Once they make that report final, we'll be sending a copy out to you. It's a pretty long paperwork, and they also made a list of quite a few significant accomplishments that they thought that we were doing that was standout areas that we did. Also, we're coming up on Christmas season, so as most of you know, the ones who've been here before know, we have a annual get-together for all of our employees that will be on December 17th. We do staff development and training days. Our offices are closed on that day, and also provide Christmas dinner to our employees. In addition to all of that, we also recognize and honor the employees who celebrate an anniversary, 5, 10, 15, and so on. We have 27 employees celebrating their anniversaries this year. And 27 altogether, and 7 of those are celebrating 25, 30, or 35-year anniversary. I have 3 that are celebrating 35 years. I have 1 employee who this year celebrated their 39th year. And I think I also had 1 that celebrated their 38th year. So we have some employees, and we'll also recognize there's 9 retirements, or no, I'm sorry, not 9, 3 retirements that we had this year, and we'll be recognizing those individuals for their service. I know I mentioned last month too that HUD has the Deputy Assistant Secretary job within Office of Native American Programs open. It had originally closed. They extended that opening through last Friday, so I don't know if they got some more applications or not. We'll let you know the next few days whether that's the case or not. They're still trying to find a good candidate to fill that post, so we'll see what they got. Right now, they do have a gentleman in there who, in an interim or acting capacity, and he's doing a good job right now, but we're hoping that they can get someone to fill it permanently. Other than that, we continue to follow a bunch of issues over on like Nahasa reauthorization and things like that. You've heard me talk about that enough, for a lot. That's just because it's been ongoing for a number of years. Nahasa is one of those programs that has to be reauthorized every 5 years. The last reauthorization expired in 2013. We do still get funding. There's a lot of federal programs out there like that, but it does need to be reauthorized, and we continue to work on that. But it is something that we have to keep after. So that's kind of where we're at now. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those questions for you.
Mr. Cooper,
Yes.
Somebody texted me just a little bit ago.
Mm-hmm.
New home construction, if they have their own land,
Mm-hmm.
what's a kind of a ballpark on expectations?
It really depends. If everything is okay and everything's good, and they do actually, have good, clear title to their land, that's always the issue. Usually somewhere between 6 and 8 months.
Wow.
And one of the biggest problems we run into is, actually it was grandma or grandpa's land, and they never
Right.
gave it to the right person, or a lot of times it may be mom or dad's or another family member's land, and they might have an outstanding tax bill out there somewhere, so that creates a lien on the property. There's issues like that we run into all the time. That's just kind of a ball. Adair County is we have some really good counties that we have excellent relationship with the abstractors in. They work really good with us. We know that whenever they send us an abstract, it has all the information in it, and they get it to us, real quick. Other counties, they're not quite as quick.
Thank you. And had a lady, gonna get some work done, sent back, needed a deed, and also, tax, land tax.
Receipt?
Yeah.
Yeah, and right now, in a lot of counties, and most counties probably right now, your land taxes have already hit as being payable, even though they're not due until the last day of December.
Now, she says her house is paid for, okay? And, but and she said that she don't pay land taxes. So,
Should.
I have to, but, okay, so the office she needs to go see, she said she paid her house off. No, I'm not making this up.
Like
really.
recently?
Really, I'm not making this up. But,
It's non-taxable while it's in our name, and then once we
but
deed it
she-
over to them, it
she said
becomes
she paid
taxable.
it off, but she don't have her deed.
Oh, she doesn't have her deed?
Yeah, is there an office she needs to go see?
Yeah, if you'll give me her name afterwards, it usually takes between 3 and 6 weeks to
Okay.
get those deeds back, because there's quite a bit of stuff that we do over on our end.
And even if it's been longer than that, do you think that it could be held up somewhere?
Possibly, but I don't know. Probably best thing to do is just get with me afterwards and give me the name, and I'll be happy to check on it.
Thank you.
Yeah, because, I mean, if we receive, a personal check or something, we do hold it for, no
Okay.
different than a bank
All right.
does, to make sure
Thank
it
you.
clears and stuff like that. And then we process it, and we usually have deeds signed once a month around the time of our board meetings. So, it could have been signed last week.
So if she paid it off, it's an Indian house, she should have a deed if it's been
Yeah,
used.
yeah. I mean, if it's been like over a month or so, yeah, she should have already gotten a deed. And we have some families too who we call and say, "Hey, come pick up your deed," and they just don't want to.
Okay, that may,
But we've already filed it, and what we usually tend to do is send it to them certified mail, because it's already been filed. Just because they don't come pick it up from our office doesn't mean they don't owe taxes on it. But that does happen. Not that often, but that does happen on
I can
occasion.
make up better stories than that, but that's a
I
real
know,
thing.
I know.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you so much.
yeah, give me her name afterwards.
Thank you.
David?
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
Gary, on the new construction,
Huh?
the contractors that are building,
Mhm.
say there's a change order in place, do we pay for the change order, or does the contractor pay for the change order?
It depends. Generally, we don't authorize change orders. Once we get a contract signed, very seldom, unless there is something that comes up that was completely unforeseen that we didn't know anything about, couldn't foresee, we don't authorize a change order. If there is something that needs to be changed, the homeowner decides that they want to do something, that's between them and the contractor, and we will approve what we call a zero-cost change order. It's still a change order for something, but it doesn't cost us anything.
I had
But
one
most generally,
contractor
no, we don't authorize any change orders.
There was some more electric line or something that needed to be ran that he didn't know about, and he didn't bid it in his package. And he said that the housing authority is giving him more money through a change order. Is that true or false?
I would hate to tell you one way or another,
Okay.
because I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, I'm
it's-
with you. I
yeah.
don't think we need to be doing change orders.
No,
If the
no.
contract goes out there
But-
and doesn't bid, he needs to stick with it, and if he loses money, that's his loss for
Yeah.
not bidding it right.
But if it's totally something that's unforeseen by us that we could not have foreseen or expected, then, it could be. We could, because of one reason or another, the electric company may need to bring in electric from a different location, or something. Very seldom does that happen, but I'm not going to say it never does, because it does happen on occasion. But, I mean,
So we do
about
authorize change
95,
orders?
96% of the time, we do not do change orders. I mean, it's,
Sometimes we do.
yeah, I mean, yeah, there's always an exception to any rule.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm not going to tell you that we never do a change order, because sometimes they are necessary.
Well, I was going to tell you what my stance is on it. I'm totally 100% against it.
And I am too, but there are times where it's totally unforeseen, and it's something that we cannot foresee or expect, and it's just one of those things. It's no different than having someone go out and putting in a septic system and hitting rock. That's a change order. If they have to spend 3 hours busting out rock that they didn't expect, that's going to require a change order.
Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. Harley?
Gary, back to this veterans pilot program that
Yeah.
Is that a grant that you're gonna be applying for?
No, it's not a grant per se. It's a demonstration project. for a certain number of rental assistance vouchers.
Oh, okay, so it won't put a plus on the side of our Nahalta funding?
No, has nothing to do with Nahasta. Nope, it's a totally separate line item.
And this is just for, you said public housing, is that for?
Now, public housing already does it now.
Okay.
It's been in effect in public housing for quite some time, and we've been trying to get, with Nahasta,
Yeah.
there's very few programs, I mean, almost zero, there really is zero programs that we're eligible for as an Indian housing agency.
Are these funds gonna be for a veteran that can go out and find an individual, a single house or?
No, it's for rental.
Or for rent?
Yeah, and there are some requirements, and it is a group effort between us as the housing professionals and also the VA, because those folks have to be at risk of, there's certain requirements to have to be at risk of homelessness or homeless. They also have to be receiving or able to receive services through the VA, and it would be, we work to provide the housing assistance. VA works along with us and parallel to us to provide all of the supportive services that goes along with that.
And do you know how much money you're talking about it?
No, we have been asked to apply for the maximum amount, which is 25 units, 25 vouchers. Yeah, and this is a demonstration project. It is the first one.
And I wonder, once you pay veterans rent, how long will it be good for? 1 month, 3 months, 6 months? Or?
No, the project is good for 1 year. Right now, that's all it is. I do, foresee that it would be one of those programs that, is reauthorized and onward, but I couldn't guarantee you that because that's all that's there for right now.
I think it's a good program.
Yeah.
Anything we can do to help some of these veterans.
It is, and that's one of the things, I think that's one of the things that they looked at whenever they looked at who they were asking to apply is housing authorities that had a good relationship and was able to do a lot of things, but also fell into a area that the veterans hospitals and veterans health facilities and just the VA in general had some service units in the area that could assist.
And I want to thank you, Gary, for responding to some of the questions I sent.
Yeah,
You did a
yeah.
good job on-
And anytime I get one, we'll try to get them responded to as quickly as we
And you
can.
do. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Mr. Thornton?
Yes, I guess I've got a question at the other end of the spectrum. But I've been approached a couple times here over the last few months. And it's by Cherokees that have just been released from prison. Of course, they're a felon. I can't tell them what the program is for those people, if there is any at all for housing. So
It's-
rental or anything else. It's a hard thing to deal with.
Rental assistance, and it's completely on a case-by-case basis. There are certain things where, we just cannot help someone. And usually about the only thing that, automatically kicks someone out from receiving any type of housing assistance would be certain things that would require them to register as a sex offender. Other than that, it's on a case-by-case basis, and, there's a lot of things we look at. Now, and we have a multi-stage review process that we go through. We have a whole grievance process in place. And it's a multi-stage deal, and I mean, really, that's what it does. That's the point of it. Is this the point? If there's any possibility that we can help someone, we will. But it's going to depend a lot on what they're there for, how long it's been since they did something. All of that. There's a bunch of things that go into effect. Yeah, I mean, the best thing that I would do is encourage them to, number one, apply. And number two is make sure they go through we call it a grievance process, and that's one of the things. And it's to see if there's any way possible if someone isn't eligible right off the top to receive housing assistance, that we'll do everything we can to get them there, if there's any way possible.
Thank you, Gary.
And we work with, Daryl and Daryl Legg's program a lot. Yeah.
Working with these stuff.
Yeah, and we work with his program a lot. We have some emergency rental assistance that we can help with and things like that. But yeah, and it depends, if they're asking for just regular rental assistance or if they're wanting to move into, one of our apartments. But we'll do everything we can to try to help someone. Because that's what we're here for, is to try to help someone rather than just saying no. We'll try to find a way to help them.
Okay, anyone else? Thank you, Gary.
Thank y'all.
Roads and transportation.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Could you state your name, please?
I'm Barry Hood.
Very good. Thank you, Barry.
Michael's unable to be here today. He's had a meeting in Oklahoma City. You have a copy of the report. I'll highlight some of the construction that we have going on today. 10 Killer School Road, contract has been let, contractor selected, notice to proceed issued, but we're still waiting on the contractor to actually start. They're a couple weeks behind schedule on some other projects. CNI Industrial Park over Adair County, concrete paving's taking place right now. Looking to probably finish that project up in another 45 days probably. The Wycliffe Bridge project in Salina, Delaware County is complete at this time. Scheduling final inspection for that project. The 4 bridges on the Kenwood Road, paving on the last couple of bridges now, weather permitting, and those projects should be finishing up by the end of the year possibly. And that's all we have currently under construction. Any questions?
Denise?
On the transit system, it says we have got the apportionments, ours was combined with UKB. Do you have any idea on the breakdown on that?
No, ma'am, I don't deal with that. I can get you an answer though.
That's all I have.
Okay. Frankie?
On the Malloy Hollow Road, has that been put out for bid, or where are we at on it?
No, they're still working out some details, I believe, with the right-of-way. It's possibly next year, but it should go for construction.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes, sir. Would you send me a report on what is going on with the Moonshine Road? Gordon County? Thank you, Barry.
Curtis?
Up on that bridge by Tile Church and Green Country Store, Delaware County.
I'm not sure
Wood
where.
Road. The last bridge up by number 10 highway, the road's been closed for a month.
Yes, yes.
How's that job going?
That's the Kenwood bridges, and they're working on getting those last 2 paved at this time. And then those will be completed possibly by the end of the year.
Okay.
I have
Look.
a comment.
Yes, sir. Keith Austin?
I'm trying to figure out the right person to deal with this, and hopefully you can either help or point us to where I need to go. The city of Collinsville has a food distribution center in it, and where it's located, trucks go down the wrong road and end up having to back up 2 or 3 blocks to get out of there. And it's just because it's not marked to where trucks don't know any better. City of Collinsville does not have good signage saying, "Do not go here." There's only one route in and out of there, and GPS does not tell trucks that.
Right.
It points them down the wrong road. So I've gotten calls from constituents there where trucks are really, they're really unskilled truck drivers could be in real big trouble there because they're having to back trucks up like 2.5, 3 blocks to get out. Is that something you can work with the city of Collinsville to find
appropriate signage and make sure that it's there, because it's our site. City of Collinsville doesn't feel much stake in the game other than the fact that, trucks are causing problems in the inside the town. But is that something you can work with them to find a way to make sure that proper signage is put up so that keep trucks out of the neighborhood?
I'll discuss this with Michael when he gets back, and I'll have him reply back to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Barry, would you check with Michael and see the status? He was supposed to initiate a meeting with Commissioner Hubbard on a chip and seal to Johnson Prairie Church.
Okay. I will check on that.
Okay, and if you would, just CC me and I'll be happy to be there.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Welcome. Chuck.
Sir, had someone get with me about Marietta School there in Adair County. They have the little school zones, and just up the way is a Redbird Head Start. And, not very far at all. But is that something, like with our money, like for roads and different things? I know there would be, other people involved, like the city. But have you ever seen anything like that through your department? Am I on the right trail here? It's what they're wanting to do. They have the little stoplights that slow down at certain times.
The caution lights there.
Yeah, and she was just asking to extend it to the Redbird Little Creek School folks could get, kind of some protection.
I'd have to check and see, but I don't really see an issue with that.
Okay.
It's going to one of our Head Starts, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
and also the Peavine School. I think that'll be a popular little project once it gets going. But there's other schools so probably need to get with Michael
Yes.
and maybe some of the.
Yes, I'd check with Michael on that.
Well, thank you.
Good deal. Anyone else? Thanks, Barry.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Hannah Knight? Yeah.
You have a copy of my report, and I'm happy to try to answer any questions. It's kind of thin since it's the first of the year, but.
Well, that was a good report. Thank you. Old bit. Yes, sir. You had a question? Hannah? Frankie, do something with that. No, he's bigger than I. Seen no old business, no new business, announcements, any announcements for anybody? Okay. Next meeting Monday, December 14th, 2 p.m.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.